I'm pretty sure that most of you who has been on Excel at some point of time have experienced this kind of problem, whereas the datasets are displayed in hash signs or pound signs. And this usually happens when the particular dataset is longer than the selected column width or column heights. So in this session, we're going to learn about how to format your cells, how to format column width, row heights, how to auto-fit these kind of cell sizes, how to increase or decrease indents. So first of all, the manual way to adjust your column width is simply using your mouse and drag your mouse around to your preferred column width. However, always we don't want to use our mouse as much as possible, so we want to use our keyboards. So the shortcut would be, again, Alt-H-O gets you to formatting our cells. So Alt-H-O and then W for column width. So Alt-H-O-W is going to get you to this pop-up where you can insert your desired column width. If you're an experienced modeler, usually you would know what kind of numbers you want to input. So usually in this case is maybe for 40 or 50 would do the trick. And as you can see, most of the data are perfectly in size. However, if you're new to financial modeling, maybe you have to put in maybe 20, 30, and 40 and kind of get the grasp of what the uh, how the numbers would look like. And a better way to do this is probably to use Autofit. So Autofit works by first selecting your desired area, as always, Alt-H-O for format again, and then I is the shortcut for Autofit. So Alt-H-O-I would do the trick. It's going to be automatically adjusting your column width to the longest data set that you have selected. So in this case, it's probably this one, net earnings or loss attributable to controlling interest. Same goes for the data sets over here. So we want to auto fit these three columns, C, D, and E, control space to select the entire columns, Alt HOI, and yep, it automatically increases the column width to uh, the dataset's lengths. We rarely adjust heights when we are doing financial modeling. Maybe just in the first phase of financial modeling where you're formatting the entire sheet. It's very unlikely you adjust row heights or auto-fit row heights, but just for your information, the shortcuts would be Alt H O H for row height. So Alt H O H would uh, the function would be the same with the width. So, but the scale is kind of different. So the scale is much more how should I say, it's much more smaller. So you need to input a much more higher number to get to your preferred results. So for example, row height 50 would get you about this length, whereas this was about row column is 40. So column is 40 is about this much, but row height 50 is only this much. So please keep in mind that you have to put in a much more higher number to get to your preferred height. And one last thing, let's say that the heights were much more smaller and you want to auto fit the row heights. The key is Alt H O and then A for auto fit row height, Alt H O A. So the shortcuts Alt HOA, and the heights are automatically adjusted. And lastly, how to indent your financial model. It's very simple. Alt H6 and Alt H5 would increase and decrease your indents. So in this case, we are looking at the components of net revenues. So these three items would look better if they are indented. So Alt H6 to increase indent and 5 to decrease. It's the same for the decimals where you press 0, it increases decimals, 9, it decreases decimals. So whatever it's on your right is going to increase things. So Alt H6 is going to increase indents. Alt H5 is going to decrease indents to the original indention. So Alt H6. Let's do the same for the expenses as well. So for the operating expenses, Alt H6. Again, for income from equity investees, Alt H6, or F4, if you remember, repeats what you have just did in your previous function. So Alt H6 and F4, utilize them wisely, and your model would look much more nicer and easier to understand once you properly indent your financial model.